So if I don't get through it, I think the plan is to get to where, let me know what time you think I should stop so we have enough time for maybe a couple of questions if we have any. And I'll stop there whether or not I'm done. And then maybe next week we can pick up where this one left off, and then I can talk about off-page SEO. That one's probably going to be the most interesting and the most, kind of beneficial for you guys. So
Okay.
yeah, this one, I like at the end, I was like, oh my God, there's a lot
Why
of
don't we why don't we look at where we're at like 1:45, because we have a full hour. So why don't we look at 1:45, and that way if there's questions or feedback, unless you're at a natural stopping point where you think it would be cool to just be like, okay, we're going to break here and then regroup next week, then we can do that. So
okay. Then I will get started. Oops, sorry. It's that kind of day. Okay. So today we're talking about content SEO. So what is content SEO? So it's a strategy for on-page techniques and content specifically written to get your web pages to rank high in the search engine. Content SEO seeks to answer the queries searchers are looking for and will get you noticed by Google. When content is written specifically for SEO, your site is likely to rank higher and get found, which is ultimately the goal. So how do you even start with content SEO? It all starts with keyword research. It used to be that you would think of your keyword and then you would put it in the URL, the title, the description, on the page, like everywhere you could. We call that keyword stuffing. Some people still try to do that, I think, but Google got hip to that very quickly, and that will not help you. And in fact, if Google thinks you're keyword stuffing, it might actually hurt your ranking. So more on keyword research. Rather than rely only on repetitive keywords to rank, what we do now is look more at what are termed proof and relevant keywords. So these are words or phrases that support and kind of provide context to your original, more broad keyword. It gets into the specifics. So example of that is a core keyword, say a degree in nursing. So similar keywords would be associate degree in nursing or online nursing degree, things like that. And then related or proof that you are supporting that keyword throughout the content might be things like nursing degree requirements or types of nursing degrees, salaries for nursing, classes to take before nursing school, things like that. You can also use things that don't even have the word nursing in it. So to support that kind of page, you might make sure you have keywords like healthcare, hospital, doctors, things that relate to the whole idea of a degree in nursing. Keyword research is so much more than finding those individual words, though. Put in the effort to build phrases that you want to rank for. So phrases, we call them long tail keywords. They're the new trend, and as the algorithm gets smarter and smarter, it can determine the context and meaning. We talked about that in our very first session. It's even more important to consider conversational tone. So if you think about it, we don't just type degree in nursing anymore. Sometimes it's more human. It's like, how do I get a degree in nursing? Best school for a degree in nursing. When we type the searches, we are typing conversationally sometimes as well. So it's a lot about search intent. So what is search intent? This is a big one. Why are users searching for that term? What are they really looking for? And where are they in that sales funnel based on the way that they're searching? Really need to think about when we do this, personas. And so think about those personas and think about them sitting down, they're at their computer, they're on their phone. What are they going to search for? And how are they going to phrase it? You need to consider search intent in your research, because the search can interpret the same intent and ranks and then displays the results based on that intent. So it's big. So there are 4 types of search intent. These are kind of just main I don't know who came up with them, but they're like the 4 main ideas about it. So navigational intent. This is someone wants to visit a specific website, but they just type in the branded keyword instead of knowing the URL. So think someone typing Facebook instead of facebook.com. It's still going to come up and they're going to be able to click on it right away. Informational intent is someone's trying to find an answer to a specific question or information on a topic. Think when you type, what is this? Or how do I do this? Or why this? So you're looking for some information. And then commercial intent. This gets into the sales funnel a little bit. Someone who's at the beginning stage of wanting to buy something. So they're kind of researching their options. Think like most affordable air fryers. I'm going to put that air fryer in everywhere I can get it. Transactional intent. So this is someone who's ready to buy. They've already done their commercial intent and now they're ready, like buy specifically a Ninja air fryer after they've done the research on most affordable or best air fryers, things like that. Now they're ready to buy and they're going to search directly for that. So now we know our intent and we know the key, we want to do keyword research and we know kind of what we're looking for. How do we start? So always start with the keywords your client wants to rank for. Even though they might not be the absolute best, you have to start with that because they know their business. They know what people are looking for if they're looking for them. So in addition to those, I like to begin where it ends. Google. Simply type in the term and see what Google auto completes. So you can see here, I had envisioned say a home cook or someone who publishes a blog with recipes or a chef or somebody, how to cook. And you can see most people, if they type in how to cook, Google thinks they're going to ask for lobster tails, spaghetti squash, bacon. So if you're thinking about this as a content creator, so maybe you want to blog on how to cook these things. So it's helpful to see what people want. So building with what's on the SERP also, once you type in your keyword and you hit enter and you get all your results, if you scroll down to the bottom, Google ever so kindly offers you related searches. So you should take note of these, and I start a spreadsheet myself. So I'll go down there and I'll be like, and you don't have to take all of them. If you don't think they are, relate to your, so like 2-year nursing degree, that might not be for a 4-year university. So you don't have to take all of them, but these are great suggestions because Google's telling you based on what you searched above, these are what other people also search for. It's related. And again, I like to copy them and I like to start a whole long spreadsheet of all the keywords that I'm considering. Here's a screenshot of keywords and I put in the volume and difficulty. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Just start keeping track of them. So some tools that I like to use besides Google. My favorites are Ubersuggest and LSI Graph. They are really great with related keywords. And I don't want to go off into those tools and actually use them. I don't know, maybe the idea is we can kind of do that separately or something with that. But basically you put in the keyword and it gives you a whole list of all these other related keywords and you can just check and export them. It's wonderful. And then you have all these keywords that you can kind of evaluate. There are paid ones as well. And we actually have these. So if you want to get a login, or I don't know how that would work, and play around with them, I would suggest they're fun. So SE Ranking and SpyFu are our 2 kind of keyword research tools. They do more than that. So the free tools are great, but sometimes they'll only allow you to do 3 to 5 searches a day. I find that acceptable. It kind of depends. If you get really into it, you'll type a keyword, you'll get some related keywords, and then one of those related keywords will kick you off kind of in another direction. And then based off that one, you get a whole nother set. So each search kind of counts. So sometimes the free tools, could be a little limiting. So it does only take one search to grab a bunch of keywords to kind of add to your list. So how do you know that the keywords are valuable? So you can't use all the keywords you find, considering you spent all this time and you might have hundreds. So the best way to narrow them down is based on what its volume and difficulty. So volume is how many monthly searches are based on the keywords. And then based on competition, how hard is it to rank for those keywords? So the right volume is going to be greater than 1,000 searches a month. I'll caveat this later, but if you only have 5 people searching for something, I mean, you might want to use it, but you want more people searching for stuff so that you get more traffic. Anything less than 10,000, I'm going to say ish, because 10,000 is a lot. It's really hard. Mostly words that are in the 10,000 volume range are going to have high difficulty as well. They sometimes they'll go together like this. So definitely greater or around 1,000. And then difficulty is less than 45. So you can see, I'm not sure what keyword I put in to get these two things, but the monthly volume is 12,000. It's kind of a lot to target. And then 45, it's looking 57. So this might be kind of a hard keyword to rank for. Here's some of the caveats. Keyword research takes time. This presentation is extremely simplified on how you do it. So again, if you're interested in keyword research, I know Jessica's got tons of videos and things of people actually walking through the entire process. Also, sometimes our clients may not have high volume keywords, and that's okay. You have to speak to their product and audience, but it's still essential to know those related phrases that will help them build quality content and maybe have some blog ideas. So, DigTix, what they do is very specific. They have a very specific app. So I'm going to put in their main keyword, and even if only 50 people a month are searching for that, we have to use it. I can't say, well, it's got low volume and whatever, so we can't use it. We have to use it. So you just have to get clever with some other supporting keywords and key phrases that will help that out. And next we do competitor research. So it's all about rank, of course. So the word rank implies competition. Someone will be first. So SEO optimization is about working to get our clients to be number one. So when we research competitors, it's not necessarily about copying what the successful sites do, but just awareness of what they are doing so we can even do it better, differentiate ourselves, and try to stand out. So guess where I start? Google, of course. Again, it all starts and ends on the search engine results page, SERP. So to figure out who your competition is, if you put your search term in, I did digital marketing agency in Ohio, see who comes up. So we've got a couple of companies here that are coming up. So what we could do is go to their web pages and look at their content, view the source, look at their source code, test their speed, see what they're doing well, so that we know why they're ranking and see if we can do it better. Another, of course, you have to talk to the client. More often than not, our clients are going to know who their competitors are, especially if they're in kind of that local market. If they're not e-commerce where they can have clients everywhere, some of our clients are specific to local. They'll know who their competitors are. They may not be competing for the same keywords, but with local SEO, Google My Business, there's some tactics that can get you on the SERP that have not a whole lot to do with keywords. Local SEO and that kind of stuff is considered kind of an off page. So again, we'll talk about that later, but just throwing that in here. So we have 2 tools to do competitor research, the same ones we use to do the keyword research, SpyFu. This is a great tool, and to add your client's website, and then you can get a list of who SpyFu considers their competitors based on things like keyword overlap and similar domains with the similar domain authority as you. We'll talk about that later too. That's important. What's really great in SpyFu is once you get the competitor, you can go to their page specifically, and it can show you the keywords they're using to buy ads. It can even say, based on the competition for this keyword, would be a good buy for you. So I think SpyFu is really great on the kind of monetary side when it comes to money and buying. I don't know how much PPC we do, but SpyFu would be great for that, looking at the ads competition. So this is a screenshot from SpyFu, and this is Now Marketing. Just wanted to show you what it looks like. Nice and visual. It gives you how many keywords we're ranking for, and you would do this for your competitor. How many clicks they're getting. You can see where all of this organic. So it's so much information, and it's really great. We also have SE ranking. So like SpyFu, SE ranking allows you to enter the client and receive a list of competitors that SE ranking considers a competitor. You can also put in your own based on what the client told you, what you find on Google, stuff like that. And then once the competitors are there, what I really like about SE ranking is that you can drill down into that competitor and you'll get keywords, and you can see that you're ranking for the same keyword, and maybe they're ranking 5th and you're way at like on 30th, and you're thinking, I should be able to rank for this keyword too, because they're our direct competitor. So again, you go to that page and you see what they're doing well and try to beat it. So you can kind of see here, this is DigTix. So they're on the far right. So 811 ticket management, you can see that our competitor is ranking #1 and DigTix is 33rd. So we're in striking distance. We're on the 3rd page of Google, not good. But if we focus on 811 ticket management and really figure out how we can up our game, maybe we can get up there on that 1st page too. So a note on that domain authority, or sometimes it's called domain trust. So it's kind of like a compiled score, an actual number based on backlinks. So people linking to you, the age of your domain, how long has it, been around, and just kind of the trustworthiness of your domain. This is an enormous signal for ranking. Plainly said, if you're a local shoe business, Nike is not your competitor. You might think they are, but they have so much authority. They need very little SEO. Like they probably do it. I don't want to say that, but they don't have to focus on it as much as someone who's a little smaller. It would be nearly impossible to outrank them for any of the keywords they rank for. It's just going to be really hard, if not impossible. So that's where we get into these off-page techniques to kind of combat trying to compete with someone with so much more authority than you. So what do we do next? We have the keywords. Now what? Now you use the intent that you researched and incorporate those keywords, those ideas, those phrases into your awesome high quality content. It's easy, right? So sites with high quality content are rewarded with better ranking. This is a fact. So what makes content high quality? So the first concept we have is EAT, expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. This is just huge. EAT is probably the most pervasive and important concept in content SEO. Essentially, it's a framework that Google raters use to assess authors, web pages, website as a whole. It's used kind of like a score. Why are we so stuck on EAT? Why is it so important? So basically, there's this quote from a famous Google white paper. It might be the answer to why everyone's so on it. This is a direct quote from Google. So our ranking system, some stuff in the middle, is specifically designed to identify sites with high indicia of expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. So they said it. So people latched onto that and found when they do this, employ these techniques, their ranking increases. So we'll go through them each one. Expertise. We all know generally what expertise means. Specifically to content, it means the display of knowledge and understanding of the topic or field being written about. So this is especially important when you're writing in like medicine, law, finance. You have to be the expert. You have to know what you're talking about. Expertise doesn't have to be formal, kind of like I have a degree in finance, so I can talk about finance. Search can understand everyday expertise. So expertise based on experience. Consider a home cook who blogs about food and recipes. They're considered an expert. Or someone who has a travel blog and they've been everywhere and they talk about where they've been, and they're considered an expert on travel just sheerly from experience. However, providing inaccurate, unhelpful, or outdated content is a recipe. See what I did there with the cook and the recipe? It's a recipe for SEO disaster. Don't do it. If you're not an expert or you're not consulting with an expert on the content, or they haven't reviewed it, just make sure it's right. Never ever publish anything that's inaccurate. Google doesn't like that. Authoritativeness. So being ranked on authoritativeness is mainly based on links and shares, basically recognition from other sites and other people who kind of are in your industry. Like, yep, that person is the authority on this. I'm going to share their blog. That gives you that authority. Recognition is best achieved by creating content that people find useful and worthy of sharing or referencing in their own work. So it's about building a reputation, a good reputation. Like, how many times have you read an article and went, man, this is perfect, or this is great, and so you share it. That's how people get authority. Trustworthiness. This can be demonstrated with official recognition. So like awards, testimonials, endorsements. I think we've all seen like sites have more and more testimonials, and putting those testimonials a little more up front and center, or sprinkle them throughout the website, because that shows users and Google that you're trustworthy. People like your service, they like your product, and they're willing to endorse you. So never write content you know to be false or misleading, or claim a status you didn't actually achieve. Google will penalize this heavily. So if you say, oh, we're the best at this, and then you write this article that just isn't helpful, or especially if it misleads people into the wrong direction, or you're saying it's about one thing and then you're keyword stuffing, or you're doing stuff that it isn't really the topic that I searched for and I get on that page, Google will penalize that. So there's another concept. This one's a little, I understand it, but it's important. We'll go over it and then we can maybe talk about it. But if the products and services you're writing about deal with happiness, health, financial stability, or safety, it's pretty broad. I feel like most things are this. Google will hold the highest of standards when they rank your site. They don't want to rank sites that are going to do the opposite of these things. Always ensure your content will help, not hurt those who read and interact with your pages. So these two together, clear as mud, what they mean. They can feel a bit broad, but it all adds up to the mantra, high quality content. Just always have that in your mind when you're reading, when you're writing. Your top priorities should always be creating content that your target audience wants or they need, and it offers true value. We talk about value a lot. It comes down to be honest, be authentic, and be knowledgeable. So here's some helpful things that were specifically outlined that help EAT, and they help your money, your life. So if you write an article, include a byline and author information. There's nothing better than knowing who wrote the content and being able to even click on them, see their bio, see their face. It's that trustworthy thing. It's that authority thing. Consider readability and word count. We talked previous that pages with anywhere above 15 to say 1,900 words tend to rank higher. I'm not sure the logic behind that, but also there's a thing called a Flesch-Kincaid score, and you can actually go to a website, put your URL in, and it'll give you that score. And I think we talked about this too, but this is like high school and above or high school and below can read your content. You don't want to make your content so technical that people can't understand it. But you also don't want to make it like it gets a kindergarten level, unless you're writing for kindergartners. You want it to be that right sweet spot where it's understandable, it's clear. Use quotes and statistics from reputable sources. This is a really good one. If you have a quote from somebody, or you can have any kind of statistics, if you have them on there and you cite them, This is a good authority, trustworthy, all of that. Make sure contacting you is easy. This kind of goes without saying. If I'm on a page and I really like it, I want to contact you, don't make me look for it, because that's a trustworthy thing. If I can't contact you, what's going on there? Typo, always improve or remove outdated information. So check back on older posts and make sure the content is still accurate and relevant. If you have an article from 2013 and it had any kind of technical things in it, or if it had statistics in it, anything like that, you know what, go back, reread it, update some of that information, maybe update the statistics and republish it. And you don't have to claim it's brand new. You can just say, you can have the original publish date and just have, updated, whatever date. It's good to do that. It's not bad to go back and republish old stuff. In fact, it's good. If it's just wildly out of date and, just completely irrelevant, sometimes it's better to delete that stuff than update it. Kind of depends on what it is and how much time you have. So engage your audience using images and video. This one we do and we know a lot. This just helps with keeping people on the page, keeping them happy, some of that YMYL stuff. So there's a whole host of on-page considerations. We'll start with meta titles. Though they're not technically a ranking factor, if they're missing, they're a duplicate, or they're poorly written title tags, it can all negatively impact your SEO. When properly written, they still provide a clue or context of the page's overall subject matter. Our plugins, Yoast or Rank Math, give a foolproof interface for adding meta titles and even guides to the content and length. So if you look here, by default, our SEO plugins will do the title, some sort of separator, and then the name of the site. So that's a no-brainer. You don't even have to do it. Although that's okay, you definitely want to go in and maybe customize the title. And you can see here, goes from red to green. That's on the length. So there's an ideal length of a title. When you're looking at the SERP, you have only so much space across. I think it's 600 pixels. So based on that space, if you go too far, you'll get a ... And so that's not always great. And the title is what they see to think, I want to click on that. So the biggest impact of a title tag is the click-through rate. So give users a reason to click on your results. Make sure the titles have context, topical relevance, and if you're incorporating keywords, they have to be unique. You can't use the same keywords over and over again on all of your titles. Some success has been measured in making them almost like a call to action. Keep it under 70 characters. So Moz, one of my favorites. Here's a good example of some titles. So this is the idea of an e-commerce kind of site. They have a home page, a category page, and then a specific product page. So you can kind of see the home page starts kind of broad. What is this website? The man registry. What is it? It's groomsmen's gifts and unique gifts, men's gifts. So the category, though, is barbecue sets and utensil gifts for groomsmen. So you can see they use groomsmen's twice, but it's kind of a supporting keyword for the other barbecue sets and unique utensil gifts. And then when you get to the specific product, then you get specific 5-piece customized barbecue utensil set. So you can see there's a little overlap, but it's not the exact same phrase every single time, except the name of the website. So descriptions, similar to titles. They aren't really a ranking signal, but they do factor into that search engine result page and could affect your click-through rate. So they should be a summary of the page overall so that users see it as the quality result. It's the one they were looking for, and it's the one they'll click on. Like how many times have you gotten a whole list of, results and you kind of scan through the title and the description, you're like, that's the one, and you click on it. So it's important to give people those clues. If a description is not provided, just FYI, Google will generally use the first 150 characters of the page itself as the title, which may or may not be the best representation of the content overall. And it certainly has no intent necessarily behind it for users to see that and think, this is the result I want to click on. So just be really mindful that, again, they're not a ranking factor. Most people agree that they're not. It still matters. Again, Yoast and Rank Math give us a foolproof interface for adding meta descriptions as well. They help you keep the character count to about 150 to 160, which avoids the ... So it's not the worst thing ever, but if your description's too long, you'll see it and then you'll see the ... So as long as you get the main calls to action or the main point within that 150, you're probably pretty good. And you can see here, this is a description from Fincham, and it's green because it's a good length. I don't know if it gives you, I didn't screenshot any kind of the readability or if there's keywords in there and stuff like that. This just shows you it's a good length. But so again, no, although not entirely necessary, using keywords and key phrases in your description, it's good practice. And you'll see them in bold on the search engine's results page. It helps emphasize to the searcher that the result is a match. So I got this result. I'm just kind of scanning. I see the words that I searched. When I see them in bold, I'm like, okay, they're addressing what I searched for. I'm going to click on it. So Mo's, here's a sample of a good description. And I like this. I picked this one because it's actionable. And I like that in descriptions, like talk to someone in an active voice. So did you know that pain and suffering are very real to the victim in a personal injury case? Learn more from our personal injury attorneys in this latest blog. So you can kind of see that it's like talking to somebody. You don't want to just have kind of this is a summary of our webpage. That's not a great description. Like, talk to people, tell them this, click here because this is exactly what you're looking for, kind of thing. You don't have to be salesy. You know what I mean? Alt tags. We all know these as a whole, just like naming images. The alt tag can give a search engine context and extra clues to understanding the overall content on the page. Here's a tip. If an image is purely decorative, like it's just like a little, dancy guy, really just for fun, sometimes you don't have to have an alt tag. It's not the worst thing ever. It's not going to break the bank. And another tip, I'm sure we've all seen this, is that WordPress has a place to enter those alt tags right when you upload the image. Do that, because if you enter it there, anytime you use that image throughout the site, WordPress will put the alt tag there because you did it when you uploaded it. And you don't have to go back to, I used this image here and here. I have to go back to those 2 pages and do it. Just similar to sizing and naming the images, do it from the beginning. Save yourself some time. So we'll get on to the headings. So H1, there should only be one H1 tag on the page. So people go back and forth on this, whether or not it's bad to have more than one. Google doesn't care if you have more than one. It's just good practice. Just have one. It's not that hard to just one H1 tag. And what it is, it should be a descriptive, concise summary of the page's content, kind of like a book title. So that right on the cover of the book, you've got your title. That's your H1. And it should be compelling and make people want to read more and stay on the page. Now, I know we have a tendency to do the H1 is the title of the page. So if you go to like About Us is the title. It's not the worst thing ever, but sometimes it could be like, learn about us, or here's, it could be a little bit longer and it could be more conversational. The merits of one or the other could be argued, but H2s through H6, sometimes they're called subheaders. Go with the book model. They should be structural cues, so like chapters. Some success has been reported when subheadings are written as questions or in like a conversational tone, like I was just saying. Either way, no matter how you do them, keep them consistent. Don't have one be kind of conversational and then the other one's just a title, or have a question and then something really simple. It's like, keep them kind of similar and the same. So I put in here our wonderful blog work and Julia's and Jacqueline's work here. So that bullet point at the top, that's an H2. And then you have your text, and then to kind of break it up and give you a clue to what's coming next, we have an H3, flip the script. So this is a great example of using the headings. And then the biggest impact of subheadings, again, they're not really a ranking signal, but the ranking for them is in the realm of just user experience. So when properly used and written, they ensure your content's easier and more enjoyable for visitors to read. I mean, there's nothing worse than being on the web and the content is just paragraph after paragraph after paragraph with no breaks, no clue to, can I skip this section maybe, or just you got to add them in. They can also be a good place to use those similar or related key phrases, providing keyword-rich context about your content for the search engines to index. So, links. A couple more minutes. Links. So this is internal linking or linking to other pages within your website. It's important for engagement. Linking to other relevant pages within your site to keep the audience interested, keep them there. I think this gets overlooked quite a bit, where we tend to do buttons a lot, which is fine, but it's really important as I'm reading. If I know that something's a link, you know, I might click on it and go to another part of your website and keep reading, stay engaged. And that all builds your ranking authority. People, I like these terms, link juice, like the juice is running, the interest is up, you know, compiling, or link equity. So it's building your site's authority. It's building its rank because people are staying there, they're engaging. So let's not overlook these. They can, again, like I just said, they can improve some of your key performance indicators like average session duration, decrease your bounce rate because people are staying. And again, another great example from Julia. She linked first 5 years in business, which links out to one of our other blogs. So this is a great example. And so using words like she did for the links, that's great. Instead of just click here and learn more. That's not telling me anything necessarily. So it's okay for buttons, but it's better practice to craft the phrase that will motivate me to click like she did. That was a great example. So provide clear, easy ways to share your content as well. This is a link, but a specific kind of link, a share button, those kind of things. Because if someone finds your page valuable enough to share it, don't make me dig to figure out how can I, oh, this is great. How can I share this? You know, I might give up. So make it very clear where to do that. So more on page considerations, and maybe we will end here. So add some interactive elements that keep users on your site longer, keep them engaged, keep them coming back. That's important. Video, especially video that, you know, YouTube is huge. So keeping those videos updated, keeping people, having new ones, quizzes, games, surveys, slideshows, chats. The chatbot is one that we're going to talk about later. Maybe some animation, just things that are kind of fun and make me want to watch that animation or take that survey and stay on your site longer. So I think I'll stop here, and we could talk about rich snippets when we talk about off page. We'll go back to this next week. Okay. I knew it was going to run long. It's like almost 50 slides. And I was like, oh man, there's no way I'm going to have to talk really fast.
No, great job. It was good. Does anybody have any questions or takeaways from this that you would like to share?
I'm super psyched that I was included as a good example. And I've been learning from you.
Yeah, I was like, you know, I'm going to try to get a screenshot of some good, you know, headings and some good linking. And I'm like, oh yeah, the blog that Julia just did. Excellent. So yeah, great, you know, great structural work and linking. It matters. And that was a great example of it.
Thank you.
I liked the point you had made about the overlapping key phrases. So with the men's registry, kind of using the key phrase as supporting and just kind of trickling down from there. I thought that was really helpful for some keyword stuff. Great job.
Thank you. I mean, obviously their main keyword would be men's gifts, right? Or groomsmen's gifts or whatever. So yeah, you can't use that phrase over and over and over again. You're going to lose your, when you do something over and over again, it loses its value. So you just have to find ways to support it and be unique. And it's not always easy because sometimes, like I said, some clients, they have that one key phrase and it's like, that's what they do. So, you just got to do a lot of research and figure out other words to use to kind of support it.
And this is one thing that we try to do quite a bit with our, at least reiterate for client blogs, is that cross-linking to other blogs, especially if you're looking at your analytics and you're seeing high bounce rates, you're seeing people come in and leave, or pages navigated is low, or pages per session is low, finding relevant links within your site to add in there gives your user like a prompt. It's not them saying, hey, look at this, but essentially by linking in the body of the text something that's going to be relevant, you're essentially saying, hey, come here and look at this. So like it's super helpful, and I can't impress upon enough, especially for those sites that that is a little bit of a struggle, is looking at your blog, looking at relevant pages where you can do some cross-linking and see what you can add into your site to navigate people the way we want them to flow through your website or blog, however that is.
Yeah, and it's even just at the end of the blog having, you might also be interested in kind of things. You don't want to be too salesy, but sometimes having like in the middle of the blog, something that's like, if you're enjoying this blog, you might also enjoy this one. You don't want to interrupt yourself too much, but yeah, just keeping people, like, we write such great articles and we've got so many, we're so prolific we're everywhere. I feel like there's just a lot of opportunity to keep people in our blog, keep them reading, keep them going. So if we can do it, we should.
All right. Does anybody have any other questions? Nope. Okay, cool. Well, great job. That 45 minutes flew. So I know you said that's a long stuff, but there are a lot of information, but it did go by quickly. Just
it is a lot of
information. It's just a ton of information, but like it's all good stuff. I think that's why it goes so quickly these hours. But yeah, if you have any questions, I've got some notes and I will link the presentation. I'll actually wait until we're finished with next week. So that way I'll just link everything all together within the one doc rather than several. But yeah, so we'll just continue this conversation next Wednesday. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, always feel free to shoot Angela a message, especially if you're thinking about creating new landing pages or creating new, content pages, or if your blog isn't performing the way that you think it should, contextual cues might be needed to be added or something like that. So feel free to share with Angela and she can lend some insight or answer some questions and we can go from there.
Yeah, and definitely as far as the keyword research and the competitor research goes, there's so much to that. And I felt like I just touched on it just ever so briefly. And I find it fascinating and I like to do it. It might not be for everybody, but I'm sure, I know Jessica has a really great training video on keyword research. But I'm sure there's resources out there to get more in depth into the keyword research and the competitor research, especially. I think it can tend to get overlooked. Like, okay, we know who our competitors are, but then we don't dig into them. We don't figure out, where are we overlapping on those keywords? Where are we overlapping on content, or if there's anything like that we can see what they're doing, and we can do it better than that. So let's, go for it. It's not just about knowing who they are. I think it's really valuable to that competitor research is super valuable.
I have something to add to that for keyword research. I downloaded an extension for Google Chrome called Keywords Everywhere.
Yes.
Tony actually showed me this, and it's pretty helpful that every time you search something, you get related keywords on the side. And it has helped me at least to write blogs and use similar keywords to what my target keyword is. So for the account managers and for anyone trying to explore keywords, Keyword Everywhere is your extension for Chrome.
Yeah, I know Jessica has that too. She uses that quite a bit because it's kind of like combining using Google to research, and then you have all on the side and at the top like other keyword suggestions too from like almost like a third party kind of thing. So it kind of combines the two, which is really awesome. That's really good point. If you could get that extension, I definitely recommend that.
Awesome.
Andres, does it give you the volume and the difficulty, or just the suggestions?
That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. It's called Keywords Everywhere. I'm gonna send the link here. It gives me like one historical search volumes, just related keywords to the.
Yeah.
That's what it gives you. I'm gonna send the link to the extension here, and Jacqueline, you can copy paste that into the document.
Got it.
Where's the chat?
Yeah, you definitely. The more, the better. The more you know, the better. I would just caution a little bit, like, don't fall in love with a keyword and think you're going to rank for it, because if you don't know the volume on it, maybe 20,000 people a month are searching for it, and like I said, Nike's ranking for it. No, it's nearly impossible to beat Nike. You're just not going to, unless you kind of get into maybe a more custom tennis shoes, or custom, blah, blah, blah tennis shoes. Get really specific, because when someone has that high of a domain authority, it's a little deflating if you're trying to compete with those keywords, because you're not going to compete.
Right, that's all I got.
Thank you for that, though. I was going to show that and started showing the other tools and stuff. It's a great plugin.
Okay. Anything else from anybody else? Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Angela, and thank you everybody for tuning in again this week. And we will be back next week to continue on with content SEO and finish the second half of this feature. So thank you much, and we will see you all later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Great job. Bye.
Thanks.